Hey everyone, my name is Isaac, and welcome to today's video. I wanted to do another video where I basically show you guys one of my short films, and this one is a special one because it's the first one that I ever directed. And I wrote this, and it has a very fun and interesting story around it, which we will get into as we begin watching it. So this short film is called Code Red, and it's a very simple story of, how do I pitch this? A man who is in the dilemma of wanting to find love, and he has an anxiety attack. Sort of. It's not serious whatsoever. It's definitely a comedy. And I'm very proud of it, very happy about it. I directed this when I was 15, and so I look much younger in the video, because I also acted in it. It was basically just me and I think 3 other guys. We were like, hey, you know what? Let's just spend a day, film this, see what happens, have some fun with it. And it definitely was fun. Probably the most fun I've ever had filming anything. So, without further ado, let's get into it. You can't hear it, but it starts out with this jazzy intro. This is Trey. Guy next to him is Joe Paul. He's fast. Title card. So just immediately, you see, how do I say this without sounding pretentious? Basically, guy behind the camera is Jermaine, who acted in the last video. He was the star of Trash, if you watched that video. If not, I'll link that video in the description. But yeah, so we had Jermaine basically use the camera as essentially a person who is, we wanted the camera to feel very alive, and you'll notice that throughout pretty much the entire thing. The camera work has a lot of personality, which I'm really happy with. This title card, if I were doing it now, I would use something else because this is a very generic text, but I edited this when I was 15, and so, I can cut myself some slack here 4 years later. I'm so happy with this hallway shot. Like, it just keeps on going. Exposure could have used some work, but that's okay. Yeah, it's very overexposed in the background, but, it's stylistic. I definitely would have color graded this now. As you can tell, I'm much more harsh on this one. Those colors look really nice. That police officer was not an actor, and he was very confused by what we were doing. So the cafeteria was very interesting to film in because of how many people there were. So we kind of just rolled with it. Here, I'll back up a little bit. Also, Trey's acting, so good. He's great. I love that shot too. That's me. Tiny little Isaac. I like that focus shift. I do think so. Okay, we're gonna break into story time on this one, which is effectively just so we had filmed this once before. The whole story came to us when we were, let's see, this would have been probably a month prior to this. We were in the middle of a class, and our professor had us basically acquire just a list of shots. He wanted us to get, like a truck shot, let's see, like rack focus, pan, tilt, all the basic stuff. We were like, what if we made a short film out of all these shots. So we go to a professor and we're like, hey, can you give us an extra, 15 minutes? Because we think that we can make an entire short film. And he was like, no, you can't. There's no way. There's no way that you can make a short film in 45 minutes. So he didn't give us an extra 15 minutes. We had 30 minutes. And we were like, well, now we have to prove him wrong. So yeah, we filmed an entire short film in 30 minutes. It didn't have audio or anything, but all of these shots we had gotten in 30 minutes. And so it ended up being a really good short film. We realized everybody kind of bounced off of each other really well. So we were like, okay, let's just do this. Let's meet back up later in the semester and film the whole thing. And that's what we did. Let's see. So then, yeah, so we filmed these, I think, in early January of 2020, which means COVID was right around the corner. So we got all the shots, and then we were in post-production when COVID hit, and we ended up in lockdown. And we weren't able to go back for reshoots, which is why some of the shots are rough and some of them are really good. So the really good ones we kept, obviously. And we kept all the shots, but we were planning on going back for reshoots so that we could effectively, just have a perfect short film. And that's kind of what we were relying on. That first shoot day, we were like, yeah, no, we can go back and, reshoot any shots that we don't like. And then COVID happened, and all of our plans went out the window. So we just spent a lot of time in post-production. We also filmed this about 3 months earlier than we needed to, because we just wanted to get that out of the way, because this was the final assignment in our class, and we were the only group that finished our assignment, because everybody else was waiting until the last minute, and then COVID happened, and, all of that. So, yeah, but all in all, I'm very happy with how it turned out, all things considered, and it's a great story because, we proved our professor wrong. He's a great guy, by the way, best professor I've ever had, but he was like, no, there's no way that you guys can do it. And then we showed it to him because we also edited it. We spent the remaining time in that class to just edit, and at the end of the class we showed it to everybody, and he was like, how did you do this? And so then throughout the entire rest of that class, through the rest of the semester, he kept trying to split our group up because he realized all of us were the top of the class, and when you have all the best people in the class working together, then that's kind of an unfair advantage for everybody else. But we kept on giving him such great final products, he just couldn't bring himself to basically split us all up. So he would be like, you know what, you guys can't work together. And then we would show him something that we had made, and be like, you know what, you can work. This is the last time. This is the last assignment that you can do it on. He'd say that every time. And yeah, he could just never bring himself to do it, which is really funny, and I'm really proud of what that group did together, because that's the best group I've ever worked with, and I really hope that we can do it again sometime. I hope that we can remake this short film 4 years later. Well, I guess it's more like 3 years later at this point, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I hope that we get the opportunity. And there's that slap, which obviously didn't collide, but I think it adds to the comedic value. There's a lot more back and forth dialogue in this one. We did so much improvising for this, and I think sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. Like, we definitely recognized when it didn't work. That's Chloe. That's my roommate now. Um, she's my best friend, and yeah, this was so much fun to film because so Chloe and I went to middle school together, and we acted in our school play together. We were the two leads in the school play, um, and so we have some experience acting together. And we've always just had like great chemistry and back and forth. And so I think that added a lot to this, being able to act with somebody who I was already friends with. She's also a way better actor than any of us were. And then there's this dude who comes in. So the story about that. So the story about this guy punching me in the face. Um, there were some people who were representing Crunch Fitness on campus that day, and they were like, "Hey, you're shooting a movie, aren't you? Can we sponsor it?" And we were like, "What?" And basically, we just had Crunch Fitness sponsor our short film. They were like, "Hey, if we can get some product placement in there and have, like this guy's wearing a Crunch T-shirt and all that stuff. If we can just get a couple of things in the short film, then we'll give you like a bunch of Crunch products." I still have a bunch of Crunch Fitness merchandise from that day. And this guy was like, "Listen, if you need an actor, I will act in it as long as you let us get some product placement in there." And we're like, "Heck yeah, let's do it." So that's how this guy ended up in there. And then this last bit was not planned. We just tagged it on. Um, and yeah, that's Code Red. All these years later, it's still funny. I'm still so happy about it. It turned out really good. But yeah, I'm all in all very happy with how it turned out. I think it's one of the better things I've done with filmmaking and just in classes and stuff. Also, the fact that Crunch Fitness actually was like, "Hey, listen, can we get some product placement in there, and then you can have like a bunch of merchandise and stuff." That was awesome. Um, Definitely the most fun I've ever had shooting something, and I think that kind of is representative of just filmmaking in general. Like, it's about making something really cool that you can be proud of in the end. And I think that nothing that I've done has been as symbolic of that as Code Red. Um, that's really, it's been also the most insightful as to what my directing style is and how I can improve, because I noticed all of the problems right off the bat, um, and knew exactly what I wanted to change, and how to change it. And I think in the most recent thing I've filmed, there's been just so much more progress made, and it's leaps and bounds better than anything. Well, leaps and bounds higher quality than anything I've done in the past. Also, including just the acting and everything like that, and color grading and things like that. I don't know it, but I've never had as much fun filming something as Code Red. Definitely the best experience that I've had and the most memorable too. Just such a great team of people to work with, and like, man, we put so much work into that, but also just had so much fun while we were doing it. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of Code Red. If you enjoyed this video, let me know what you want to see in the future. Let me know if you want to see more of these breakdown videos. I can absolutely do that for you. And with all that said, I will see you guys in the next video.